Hello, my name is Josie Rocha, and the book that I picked, it's called When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalinath. In a quick summary of the book, it's about a neurosurgeon that gets diagnosed with cancer and his journey throughout his career, and focusing also on patients and the stories of the patients as well. And there's two parts. The first part of the book, how it starts off, it's through his medical journey, his medical school, and how he really wanted to focus on the medical field and becoming a neurosurgeon. And the second part of the book is how he diagnosed himself with lung cancer and his journey throughout that. And with the title, When Breath Becomes Air, it symbolizes the moment of death when life represented by breath cases in the body returns to the air or dust. It reflects Kalinath's exploration of mortality and fragility of life and the transition from being alive to being a memory. And my likes or dislikes is that Kalinathi really balances his doctor life and his writing life and writing into this book, because he did write this book while he was working and also dealing with his lung cancer. And a minor critique about this book is that he didn't finish his book. His wife did write the end of the story, so we didn't get a good ending from him, and it was very sad and a little bit disappointing. But I think the wife ended it very simple, and his love for this book and his career. A strong rhetorical choice is one of the most powerful moments in the book is when Kalinathi reflects on his transition from doctor to patient. And one thing that he said that really struck to me is that I had to face my mortality and try to understand what made my life worth living. And I needed a plan for life I could no longer count on, which was very heartfelt to me. The moment is significant because it highlights the shift in his perspective. The parallel structure, face my mortality, and understand what made my life worth living, emphasizes his existential crisis. His use of life I could no longer count on underscores the uncertainty of his future, making the reader feel very felt weight and with his diagnosis as well. And the lessons that this book has given me, it was honestly very strong because it was a very heartfelt and really shows how people do care about others as well, which is a very strong and something you don't see nowadays. He still wanted to help people even though of his journey. In a way, he wasn't as taking care of himself as much as he should have, because he was also being a patient as well as being a doctor, but then he had to just be a patient. It was some type of anxiety that really got to him that was very heartfelt, and how he really wanted to become the best version of being a dad, being a doctor, and a patient at the same time. So it was very heartfelt, and I really enjoyed this book, and I really recommend this book to anyone who really wants to go into the medical field. I think it really inspires people to really work hard in the medical field and to just be very happy and very blessed with their choices that they're making as well. And this book is honestly, I wouldn't just recommend it to any medical students or anyone in the medical field. I think this really is a very interesting book because he really puts in this book all of his cases that he had, all of his patients with all their stories, and you could be very shocked about what people really go through. He deals with little kids, elderly, just older people in general, and any type of human with any age, and all of what they go through. And it's very sad, but of how he also saves lives. And a question that I would ask Kalinathi, it would be, if you had more time, how do you think your perspective on death would have changed, and how would he really end his story, his book, and if he would have had other books? And because this was one of the most successful medical books there's been, and I honestly rate this book a 9 out of 10. It's beautifully written, and and it's a very emotional book. You do get very emotional while reading it, but the only reason why it didn't for me hit a 10 out of 10, it's just because he didn't finish writing it. And this was a type of book where you're so into reading it where you want a perfect ending in a way. And it was just so sad how his wife had to change honestly everything, and seeing his passing and seeing how much he genuinely cared about his book and his career and his family. And this book was honestly such a heartfelt book. I don't think I've read a book that I genuinely feel connected with, and it was an amazing book. Thank you to Paul Kalanithi, and this is my book that I read.